So let us start with today's session. Starting with the next problem, it says find solution for the following transportation problem. Okay, so it is just mentioned find solution for following transportation problem. It means that we have to find out optimum solution because it is not mentioned that find initial basic feasible solution. If it is only mentioned that find solution, you need to find out the entire solution which is optimum. So if it is only find solution, you have to find out optimum solution, not only the basic feasible solution. So starting with the first step is to check whether the supply and demand are equal or not. So yes, there is the supply and demand are equal with a value of 210. So it's equal. So next step will be to find out the row and column penalties and find out initial feasible solution by Vogel's approximation method. So in the first row the penalties are 4, 5 and 2. Column it is 5, 4 and 2. So you can see here that there are penalties which are coinciding. Here also there is 5 and here also penalty is 5. So maximum penalty is occurring on two sides. So what we need to do? We need to check at what place we are getting the minimum cost. So if I select this row, for example, the minimum cost is this one, 3. And similarly, if I go by this column, again I am getting the same answer that this is the minimum cost. So you can, the only place where we can assign either going by this column or this row, the cell will be this only. So we have to first allot at this particular cell. So how much to be allotted? The allotted will be the minimum of demand and supply. So 50 will be allotted here. 50 is allotted. Counter effects, this 50 will become 0 and this 70 will become now 20. After this, again we have to find out penalties. So in second iteration, the penalties will be 4, 1 and 2 and 4 and 2. Again you observe that there are two highest penalties. One is this 4 and one is this 4. Again the maximum penalties are coinciding. Then what we need to see, if the penalties are coinciding, then we have to see at which place there is a minimum cost. So let us assume that I take this row as my maximum penalty. So if I take this row, the minimum cost is 3. And if I take this column, again the minimum cost is 3. So here penalties are also coinciding and also the costs are coinciding. So if both are coinciding, then what is our next step? We have to check at which place we can allot maximum. So देखो यहाँ पर, here it is 60 and 80. So how much I can allot here? If I choose this row, I can allot 60 here because minimum of 60 and 80 will be 60. So I can allot 60 here. And what about this part? Here it is 80 and 80. So I can allot 80 here. So this is the place where allocation need to be done because I can allocate maximum at this particular place. Again I repeat, first step is to check penalty. If penalty coincides, then check minimum cost. If minimum cost coincide, then check at which place you can assign maximum. So with that logic, the maximum can be allotted at this particular cell. So what I will do, I will make assignment of 80 here and counter effects will be this 80 and this 80 will completely get cancelled. Okay. Next step, again we have to find out penalties. 3, 9, 2 and 6. So now what is highest penalty? Highest penalty is 9. So this row will be selected and under this now only this cell remains. So we will allot here, and how much to allot? The minimum between 20 and 80. So 20 will be allotted here. Counter effects, this row will get cancelled and this 80 will become now 60. Now you can see there is only one cell remaining and there is 60 supply and 60 demand. So directly we can write 60 in that particular place and cancel out this rows and columns. So by doing this, we have found out initial basic feasible solution by Vogel's approximation method, and the transportation cost, I am not telling the minimum cost, only the transportation cost is, if I multiply the allotments by the cost of per article, I will get answer as 750 rupees. Now after finding out this transportation cost or initial feasible or initial basic feasible solution. What is next step? Next step is going for checking the optimality. And before going to check for optimality, we have to first check whether our solution is non-degenerate or degenerate. So for that we have the equation m plus n minus 1. So what I will write? M plus n minus 1. So there are 3 rows, 3 columns. Minus 1 I will get answer as 5. And now we have to check this with the number of allocated cells. So if you can look in the matrix, there is one allocation here, one allocation here 2, one here 3 and one here. There is only 4 allocations. So I will write number of allocation cells are 4. Now what happens? This condition of m plus n minus 1 is now not satisfied. It is now m plus n minus 1 is not equal to number of allocated cells. So if it is not equal, what I will write? I will write the solution is degenerate. That means there is something missing in the solution. Now what to do in this case? Just observe this equation. When this solution will be non-degenerate, when this cell or this value will be equal to this value. Now we can't change this. We can't change it because number of rows or number of plant and number of warehouse will remain same. What about this number of allocated cells? If I increase this cell by 1, instead of making 4 allocations, if I make 5 allocations, this m plus n minus 1 will now become number of equal to number of allocated cell, and then we can write solution is non-degenerate and proceed further for the optimality check. Now how to do that? So let us again take this matrix where we have already made this 4 allocation. Now how to make a 5th allocation? You have to see which cell, which unallocated cell is having now the least cost. So you can see the cost here at WA is 8, at WB is 7, XB is 8, YA is 11 and YC is 5. So the minimum cost of non-allocated cell is 5. So what I will do here, I will make a allocation here and that allocation will be known as epsilon. Please note here, the allocation should be made, a new allocation or an extra allocation should be made at the position which is having minimum cost. Minimum cost पे क्या करना है आपको? You have to make a allocation of epsilon where the epsilon is very much near to 0. It is not 0, it is very near to 0, or you can say it is tending to 0. That means allocating here will not affect the solution, but our problem will become from degenerate to non-degenerate. After doing this, now it is a non-degenerate solution. Now what we do? We find out the U's and V's. So U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3. What is next step? We assume U1 is equal to 0. Now as U1 is 0, now you can see here, you can use of this cell because we are finding setup cost for allocated cells only. Now the procedure is exactly same. It is a similar problem which we have solved till now. So what happens here? This epsilon, sorry, U1 is equal to 0. This U1 plus V3 should give you 3. So out of which U1 is equal to 0, so I will get V3 is equal to 3. Now again, at this position of 9, what will be the equation? U2 plus V3 should give you 9, out of which V3 is already 3. So what will become U2? U2 will become 6. Now U2 is equal to 6. Now come at this place which is allocated. So what will happen? What will be the equation? U2 plus V1 should give me 3. U2 plus V1 should give me 3, out of which U2 is already 6. So what will be V1? V1 equal to minus 3. And similarly, I will find out all the other values of V1, V2, etc. So on solving this, I will get answers for V1 and V2 as minus 3 and 1. After finding U's and V's, we find out the opportunity cost for non-allocated cells. So I will write here opportunity cost for non-allocated cell. So first non-allocated cell is this one. What is its position? Its position is 1, 1. First row, first column. So what will be my formula? Delta 1, 1 is equal to U1 plus V1 minus the cost at this position. So it will be U1 plus V1 minus C11. So with this I will get answer as minus 11. Similarly, if I calculate the opportunity cost at this position, what I will get? I will get answer as minus 6. And by same procedure, I will calculate all the opportunities cost. So what I will write? As all the values of delta are either negative or 0, our solution is optimum. And what will be now answer? Now I have written total minimum cost. You can see here. Total minimum cost. I have added this word. Total minimum cost is equal to, everything remains same. 60 multiplied by 3, 50 multiplied by 3, 20 multiplied by 9, 80 multiplied by 3, and this should be included. That is 5 multiplied by epsilon. But as I said, epsilon is a very less number. Anything multiplied by a number which is tending to 0, answer will be approximately 0. Hence, I have not written it in the final solution. So it is not affecting the final solution. Hence, I get the optimum minimum cost or optimum minimum transportation cost is 750 rupees. And this completes the solution. I will proceed to the next problem, which is this one. A company manufacturing air coolers has two plants located at Bombay and Calcutta with a weekly capacity of 200 units and 100 units respectively. The company supplies air coolers to its four showrooms situated at Ranchi, Delhi, Lucknow and Kanpur, which has a demand of 75, 100, 100, 30 units respectively. The cost of transportation is shown in the table. Okay, so it is not given what we have to find out, so that sentence is missing. So the sentence which is there in the question is, find the optimum transportation cost for the following data. That's the question. We have to find out what is the optimum transportation cost for the following data. Okay, so what is the first step? First step in any problem of transportation is to check whether the supply and demand are equal. So here you can see the supply. If I add the supply part, it is only 300 or it is 300. And if I add the demand side, it will be 75 plus 100 plus 130. So I will get answer as 305. So here we can say that it is not a balanced transportation problem because the supply and demand are not equal. There is a hike in the demand by 5 units, or you can say there is a lack of supply by 5 units. So what we need to do? We need to first balance it. First we need to make it a balanced transportation problem, and then only we can proceed for the further solution. So simple, what I will do, I will just add one dummy to just balance this 5 units. So now you can see 200 plus 100 plus 5 gives me 305, and this was already 305. So now my problem is a balanced transportation problem. So proceeding further, what we have, we just want to again calculate the penalties and find out the initial basic feasible solution by Vogel's approximation method.
हेलो सर।
Yes.
सर इधर अपने जो पहला पेनल्टी रहेगा उसमें जीरो कंसीडर नहीं करना रहेगा ना मिनिमम? सर जैसे पेनल्टी में हम लोग जीरो को एज ए मिनिमम नहीं कंसीडर कर सकते ना, जो नेक्स्ट के दो मिनिमम है उसको लेके सबट्रैक्ट करना रहेगा ना?
नहीं, जीरो will be only minimum. This is our question.
हाँ,
जीरो मिनिमम लेंगे हम.
जीरो मिनिमम लेंगे.
Yes, the minimum are 0 and 50 का 50 आएगा वहां पर.
ओके.
ये हमारा समझो, अभी हमारा ये क्वेश्चन बन गया. Okay, so let me portray the solution. It is enough time. By this time it should have been completed. So the solution will be like this. And try it. It's nothing new. You have to just see the maximum penalty and then allot. If penalties are same, you have to see the cost. If costs are also same, you have to see where you can do maximum allocation. So using this logic, you can proceed further in the solution, and you will get the answer for total cost as 24750 units. So this is the total cost which I have found out. Now we have to find out whether this cost which we have found is optimal or not. So for that, what we need to do? We need to first check whether our solution is non-degenerate. Yes, we have the equation now, m plus n minus 1. So number of rows are 3 number of columns are 4, minus 1 I will get answer 6. Number of allocated cells also if you count it will be 6. So now I can say that as m plus n minus 1 is equal to number of allocated cells, our solution is non-degenerate. That means everything is complete. Now, as everything is complete, our solution is non-degenerate, what we can do? We can now proceed towards the checking for optimality by modified distribution method. So for modified distribution method, we first find out U's and V's by considering only the allocated cells. So again, same thing. You have to first find out U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3, and V4 by considering the allocated cells. So just I will explain one. So we will start from U1 is equal to 0. And if U1 is equal to 0, now let us see this part. First allocation is this one. So if U1 is 0, U1 and V2, because this is at position 1 and 2. So U1 and V2 should give me 90, out of which U1 is already 0. So what will be V2? V2 will be 90. And similarly, you have to find out all U's and V's. So again, you take 2 minutes or 3 minutes to find out this particular part. So next allocation is this one, 100. So what should be the equation? Equation will be U1 plus V3, because it is on the third column. U1 plus V3 should give us 100. So I will get answer for V3 as 100. Then this allocation, U1 plus V4 again should give me as 100. So what will be V4? V4 will also be 100. Now next allocation, you have to see at this part. U2 plus V2 should give me 70, out of which V2 is already 90. So I will get U2 as minus 20. Okay. And similarly, proceeding forward with other allocated cells, I will get answers for U3 as minus 100 and V1 as 70. Now what is next step? Next step is to find out the opportunity cost for various non-allocated cells. So starting with the first one, this is my first non-allocated cell, whose position is first row, first column. So what will be my equation? My equation will be U1 plus V1 minus the cost at this cell. So U1 plus V1 minus 90. So I will get answer as minus 20. Similarly, if I proceed further on finding out the various opportunity cost for non-allocated cells like this one, this, and this. So on finding out the opportunity cost for all these cells, I will get answers like this. There you can see all the values of opportunity cost are either negative or 0. So if it is either negative or 0, what is our conclusion? Our conclusion is as delta values are either negative or positive, the solution is optimum. That means whatever we have found out by initial basic feasible solution is the only minimum answer. Now, one thing new which I want to introduce here. Please pay attention. In previous problems also we have said that as the values of delta are either negative or 0, the solution is optimum. But there is something which is hidden. What is hidden here? If yes, the solution will be optimum. That's the correct, right? That's correct. All the values of delta either negative or 0, the solution is optimum. This is perfectly fine. But if there is a 0, if there is a 0 appearing in the delta value, that implies that there also exists an alternate solution. Again, I repeat, if any value of delta comes out to be 0, what that indicates? It indicates that there also exists an optimum alternate solution. What will happen in alternate or optimum solution? The total cost of transportation will remain same, just the allocation will get shifted. Any doubts, please ask. Sometimes in the question it is said that also find the optimum solution or alternate optimum solution. So if this is the case, we have to also proceed with the other part. So again I repeat.
सर एक बार वापस से बताओ.
हाँ, एक बार फिर से बता रहा हूँ. ठीक है, एक बार फिर से बता रहा हूँ, सुन लो. ये इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप है और एग्जाम में मोस्टली इस तरीके का आता है कि अगर ऑल्टरनेट सोल्यूशन होगा तो क्या होगा. ओके, लेट मी अगेन एक्सप्लेन. वी हैव सेड दैट if the values of delta are either negative or zero, then the solution is optimum. That's correct, no doubt in that. That's correct, but there is something special for zero. And what is that speciality? That if any non-allocated cell gives you opportunity cost at zero, that also implies that this particular problem has alternate optimum solution. There is another solution, or there can be some other allotment which will also give you the same solution as 24,950 which we have already got, or sorry, 24,750 which we have already got. So if it is asked in the question, you solve for alternate optimum, you have to proceed further. If no, you can just write this line as all values of, not all values, as value of delta 34 is 0, there also exists an optimum solution, and that's it. The minimum cost is 75 into 90, etc. This completes our solution. This completes our problem. But sometimes in the question it is asked that also show that alternate optimum. Okay. Sometimes in the question it is also asked show that particular alternate optimum. So what we need to do? देखो हमारा पॉजिटिव कहाँ आया था, सेम लॉजिक व्हाट वी हैव अप्लाइड. हमारा पॉजिटिव कहाँ पर आया था, इस जगह पे आया था. ओके, नाउ हियर दिस वाज द सेल व्हिच गेव अस द जीरो अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट. सो व्हाट आई विल डू, आई विल स्टार्ट माय लूप फ्रॉम हियर. मेरा लूप यहां से स्टार्ट होगा. इफ माय लूप स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम हियर, आई कैन गो एट दिस साइड. यस, आई कैन गो टुवर्ड्स दिस साइड. Now, as this is the allocated cell, I can take a turn. So I will take a turn, but I can't stop here because it is non-allocated cell. I have to go till here. Now, as this is the allocated cell, I can take a turn. So I am taking a turn on this side. And again, as this is the allocated cell, I can take a turn and can reach to the starting point. So by forming this loop, what I have done, I have satisfied all the three constraints. What are the three constraints? First was the loop should contain only horizontal and vertical lines. That's okay. Second is turning should be at only allocated cell. I have done turning at allocated cells only. And third is the starting and ending point of the loop should be same. So you can see here I have started from this 0 and also I have reached or end the loop at this particular 0. So what I can say, my loop is formed and my loop is like this. This is my loop. So after forming loop, what we do? We start with a positive sign on the starting point. तो ये मेरा starting point था, ये वाला. यहाँ पर मैं क्या कर दिया, I will put a plus sign and then alternate minus and plus. After this, what we do? After this, we check what is the value. Yes, what is the minimum value at negative sign? So there is a negative sign here, and the allocation is only the allocation is 30. Another negative sign is here, and allocation is 5. So minimum number is 5. So what we have to do, we have to select 5, add it at all positives and subtract it at all negatives. Exactly same what we have done, nothing new. So I will do it like that. What I will make, I will add this plus at all positives and subtract this 5 at all negatives. So as there is 5 here, what will this become? This will now become an allocated cell with value 5. This 30 will now become 25. This step I have not shown, but you can find out here also. This 95 will now become 100 because there is a plus sign here. And this 5 minus 5 will now become 0. So this now becomes the non-allocated cell and this cell becomes the allocated cell. Now again same procedure, we have to find out U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3, V4 by the same procedure, exactly same. Nothing new in that. And then you have to find out the opportunity cost. So opportunity cost for non-allocated cells only. So after finding out the opportunity cost, so now you can see there's this one. First you are getting something 0 at other part. Now I am getting 0 at delta 33. That means at this part. So घूम फिर के solution वहीं पर आ रहा है. पहले हमारा यहाँ पर allocation था, हमने हटा के यहाँ किए. अब यहाँ किए तो बता रहा है अपॉर्चुनिटी यहाँ पर है, तो घूम फिर के आंसर सेम ही आ रहा है. सो व्हाट वी कैन से, this is my alternate optimum solution, and again you can see the minimum cost is same. So what we have done, we have just shifted our location or shifted our allocation to different cells, but after shifting also we are getting the same answer, hence it is known as an alternate optimum solution. Any doubts, please ask. Just to summarize today's lecture, first we have seen if the solution is degenerate, we need to make it non-degenerate by adding a epsilon at the minimum cost, where epsilon is a value very much near to 0 or tending to 0. This was the first thing which we have learned in this lecture. And second thing is, if the opportunity cost value comes out to be 0, that implies that there is also an alternate optimum existing. So if it is not asked in the question to find out alternate optimum, we will end our solution there only by just writing it contains alternate optimum. That's it. But if the question, if it is asked that what is that alternate optimum, then you have to again form a loop and then show the other optimum value. In both the cases, you will get the minimum cost as same. That's it. Because it is an alternate optimum. Alternate means there has different solution, but the final answer will come same. So this is the takeaway of today's lecture. So with this, I end this lecture here, and tomorrow we will start with another two problems that will end our topic on transportation.